To you from Tel Aviv, a region on edge tonight over fears of a wider Middle East war. In the last hour, Donald Trump says Iran's supreme leader is dead. If confirmed, it is a seismic moment for this whole area. So far, Iran has rejected the claims that he has been killed on what is a dramatic day, with Israel and America launching a wave of airstrikes on targets right across Iran.
Our forces are active, and British planes are in the sky today as part of coordinated regional defensive operations to protect our people, our interests, and our allies.
Iranian here, with a message for every single American who voted for President Trump. From the bottom of my heart, thank you. God bless President Trump, God bless the US military, and God bless America.
The speed at which this story exploded tells you everything about the moment we're living in. Joint US-Israeli strikes hit Iranian targets. Within hours, President Trump was publicly suggesting that Iran's senior leadership had been wiped out. But here's the thing. At the time of reporting, there has been no independently verified confirmation that Iran's supreme leader has been eliminated. And that distinction matters. Because when a president says something of that magnitude, when a head of state implies the death of another head of state, market shares, armies mobilize, and civilians panic. The strikes themselves are real. US and Israeli forces reportedly hit multiple Iranian targets in what officials described as defensive or strategic actions. Iran responded with threats and missile activity of its own. The situation escalated quickly. But what turned this from military action into a full cultural rupture was the claim of leadership decapitation. And that's where comedians entered the conversation. D.L. Hughley wasted no time responding. On Instagram, he described what he sees as a familiar pattern: domestic scandal at home, military force abroad.
I said, I wonder how many black and brown people are going to die to distract from the fact that the President of the United States of America, the current president, is mentioned in the Epstein list at least 38,000 times, more than Jesus was mentioned in the Bible. Because that's the game. When poll numbers are down, bound somebody black or brown. It's an American tradition. And the podcast bros who were supporting this president because he was supposed to bring no new wars, 8 countries have been bombed in the course of a year. And coincidentally, they happen to coincide with a revelation that was made about the Epstein file. Like this last one. Now, Howard Lutnick pictures were removed from the Epstein list. 50 pages, according to NPR, specifically mentioning Trump and the FBI and the investigation of a girl who credibly accused him of assaulting her. That was removed. And now we have this. And by the way, wasn't the bomb that he lobbed at them less than a year ago, wasn't that supposed to have taken away their capacity to make nuclear weapons? So what's happened now is, in order to distract from the fact that the President of the United States of America is credibly mentioned in the Epstein files, where hundreds of young girls were sexually assaulted and trafficked. Today, a bomb dropped on a school where dozens of underage girls were killed. So because hundreds of underage girls were sexually assaulted, now dozens of underage girls are dying. How do you sound? How Christian is that?
In Hughley's view, the timing of military action is not coincidence, it is distraction.
To all of the podcast bros who, among the many reasons they supported Trump, one of which one of the most prevalent ones was that he wouldn't start any new wars. And he has bombed 8 different countries in a year. He's become the first president to do so, including an attack on Iran today. So all of those podcast bros who full-throatedly supported him because he would bring peace and he wouldn't start any new wars. How's that going?
Whether you agree with Hughley or not, his anger reflects something real. Many Americans feel that foreign intervention often coincides suspiciously with domestic embarrassment. Mehdi Hasan, on his Existential platform, approached it differently but landed in a similar place. Hasan described what he sees as a predictable Republican pattern: cut social programs, reduce taxes for the wealthy, raise prices, then bomb a Middle Eastern country.
Ronald Reagan did it, George Bush Sr. did it, George Bush Jr. did it, and Donald Trump has done it. Now, this is where it gets interesting. Donald Trump is not just alone in that pack in the sense the Swinso put it, mentally desiccated game show star. It's not just that it wasn't George Bush and Dick Cheney that attacked Iran, it was the guy from Home Alone 2. It's also the fact that he ran as the anti-war president, the anti-war candidate, the no more forever wars, the no regime change wars. Again, sorry to plug our excellent Zateo content today, but we just put out a piece at Zateo, listing out all the times Donald Trump and J.D. Vance and Tulsi Gabbard and RFK Jr. and Stephen Miller and David Sachs, all of these Trump people said, vote Trump. He's the guy who won't take us into any more Middle East wars. Kamala Harris will send your boys to fight and die, Stephen Miller said. Not us. Donald Trump said, there'll be no new war on my watch. He bombed 7 countries in 2024. He started 2025. He started 2026 attacking Venezuela. And now here we are with this major conflict in Iran. We don't know where it's going to go. And it was all a lie. And I'm sorry, I've got to say this. Swin said, we all knew. Well, many of us knew. But we also had a bunch of people on the right and sadly on the left too, who bought into this bullshit line that Donald Trump would be an anti-war candidate.
Then you scroll TikTok. Black creators are posting videos expressing anxiety. Some are talking about escalation into World War III. Others are worried about economic collapse, draft rumors, or global retaliation. You see genuine fear in their eyes. It's not political theater, it's existential dread.
Bitch, at this point, I don't know what the fuck to believe. Half of the people, Fox, CBS, American, Israeli companies are saying that Iran's leader was assassinated through Israeli and USA strikes. The other, Iran not confirming nothing. And Iranian officials just posted a video of him addressing the nation, of him being alive. Some people saying it's pre-recorded. At this fucking point, Iran, you need to just let us know what's going on. You feel what I'm saying? Cause him being alive or not alive is a big part of what's gonna happen next.
I spend a lot of time undermining the liberal propaganda about this intervention being humanitarian, the same Iraq war level rhetoric and nonsense. But just if you want to undermine it quicker, look at what Trump is saying. He doesn't believe that the Iranians can really be democratic. He wants to install a monarch. He wants to install Pahlavi. His own advisors to Israel believe that Israel has the right to expand to basically Iran's border. Nothing about this is maintaining the liberal system that was used to justify the invasions of Iraq or invasions of Afghanistan, and that means we have a new and different enemy, but an enemy that has, frankly, worse propaganda.
At the same time, you'll find Iranian social media users, particularly in diaspora communities, expressing cautious hope. Some argue that regime change, even if chaotic, could open the door to a more liberal Iran. They speak about decades of repression and see potential opportunity in instability. That split reaction is important. For some, this is reckless escalation. For others, it could be the beginning of long-awaited transformation.
We can't wait until Iran is free and we can welcome you back to our country with open arms and be the allies that we used to be before the Islamic regime took over our country in 1979. That's it. Thank you. Thank you so much, and God bless America.
And then there's the credibility problem. When a president claims the elimination of a foreign supreme leader without immediate independent confirmation, trust erodes. In an era where misinformation spreads faster than verification, responsible reporting becomes essential. The world cannot afford misstatements at this level. Because if Khamenei is alive, the rhetoric alone is destabilizing. If he is not, the geopolitical consequences are enormous. And here's the uncomfortable layer underneath everything. War is not content. It isn't a meme. It isn't a podcast segment. It isn't a tribal win. It is civilians. It is missiles. It is children. It is retaliation. Comedians like D.L. Hughley aren't speaking as policy experts, they're speaking as moral commentators. Their job isn't to draft military doctrine, it is to question power when it flexes itself dramatically. Hassan's job isn't to command troops, it's to analyze political patterns. The public's job isn't to have all the answers, but it is to demand clarity. Right now, the biggest question isn't partisan, it's simple. Was this necessary? Was it legal? Was it proportional? And was it honest? Because if foreign intervention is being used to distract from domestic scandal, that is dangerous. If it's been used as preemptive defense, that requires evidence. And if leaders are making unverified claims about killing other leaders, the world deserves proof. In moments like this, fear spreads quickly, anger spreads faster, but the only thing that stabilizes anything is truth. And until we have full confirmation and transparency, everything else, outrage, celebration, panic, is operating in partial light. That's where we are right now. And that uncertainty might be the most dangerous part of all.